Welcome to the next class. In the last class, we have learned identifiers, keywords, special symbols, right? Some basics and also constants, right? Now we are moving to the variables. Already we know what is a variable. In the last class only we came to know these variables. A variable is a data name that may be used to store or data value. Once again, let me reveal this example. So you are using a, b, x. This is the name given to the variables, right? And what you are storing? You are storing the value in that variable. Got it? Please observe here. A is the name of the variable, and in this you are storing the value, right? Here the saying the same thing. These are the very important 2 marks and 4 marks questions and 5 marks questions. These definitions are very important. All these basics are very important. Okay. A variable is a data name that may be used to store a data value. Each variable in reality represents the name of a memory location where a data value can be stored. So here it is represent the memory location where you are storing the data value. This value is 10. This is the data value, right? Where you are stored in A. Then where it exists in the memory. Got it? Yes. So that is why for the name given to the data memory location is called as variable. Now the variable may take different value at a different time during execution. As we came to know here, after processing this data you are getting different values, right? Clear? So the value of the variable may vary during program execution. Variables are used to identify various programming elements, hence they are also called as identifiers. These variables are sometimes I am treating it as an identifiers. By using these identifiers we are identifying the programming elements. Now let us see the data value stored in memory location of the variable is called as R value, and the address of the memory location where the value is stored is called as L value. For example, I have stored this value 10. This 10 is called as R value, and here the A I am taking it is called as L value. Okay, R value and L value, right? So here it is treating the same thing. The name of the variables you are giving by using the identifiers here, the average is the variable counter underscore 1 is the variable name, and class strength is the variable names. Okay, then following rules we have to use for the declaration of the variable. The variable must contains only alphabets, digits and underscore. If you are giving the name of the variable, it must be contains alphabets, digits and underscore. The first character must be an alphabet. Okay, the length of the variable name is a 32 character long. It should not be exceed 32 characters, right? If you are giving the name of the variable, then you can use uppercase and lowercase. Uppercase letter is different than lowercase. For example, in your program you have taken the two variable naming as a capital total and small total. This is acting as a two different variable. Okay, this is acting as a two different variable in your program. While giving the name to the variable, you should not be used keywords. You are not supposed to use keyword, and also you have not give any white space or blank spaces. Okay, white space, tab space and enter keys are not allowable whenever you are using this name of the variable. Clear? Yes. What is a variable? One rough briefing. A variable is a name given to the data storage location. Okay, the value of the variable may changes during program execution, and the rules to construct the variable is it must contains alphabets, letters or digits and special symbols like underscore. The variable name first starts with an alphabet character itself only. Its length is 32 characters. Uppercase and lower cases are varying, and you should not be used keyword. No special symbols, blank spaces are allowed other than the underscores. Okay, these are the rules. These are the rules when you are declaring the variable names. Now I am coming to the concept of data types. This is also very important topic. Already we have learned constants. So constants are categorized into two types. What are those? Numeric constant, non-numeric constant. Under the numeric constants, once again you are having integer constant as well as real constant. In non-numeric constants, it consists of a character constants as well as string constants. Now we will see data types. So this is also very important topic. Okay, data types specifies the type of a value you are going to be storing in the variable. Okay, the data type specifies the type of a data we are going to be using in our program. Okay, this is the actual definition of your data type. What is the data type? Data types define a set of values which can be stored in variable along with the operation that may be performed on those values. Yes, whatever the variable you are storing, whatever the value you are storing, and whatever the operations you have to be performed. Okay, whatever the operation you have to be performed, that can be specified by using these data types. Let us see. Your C supports three types of data types. One is a primary or fundamental data types, and another one is the derived data types, and the third one is a user defined data types. Here primary or fundamental, whenever question is asking, they will ask in the form of a primary or fundamental or primitive or instructive data types. Whatever it may be, it is a primary data type. Please make a note, it is a primary data type. Okay, yes. Here let us see what are the primary data types we are having in our C program. We have seen all C compiler supports 5 fundamental data types. Our C compiler supports 5 fundamental data types, namely integer, character, floating point. So integer you are going to be representing in the short form int. You have to use this int. Character means char. So you have seen this in your keywords. These keywords is used to represent integer types, character types, floating points, that is a float, double precision floating points, double and wide. All these 5 data types are treated as a primary data type. Now let us see integer types. Okay, integer types are whole numbers. Whole numbers in the sense you know the numbering system, which starts with 0 through infinity, right, without having point values. Those integer values are the whole numbers with a range of values supported by particular machine. For example, it is having the range as in general in our mathematics it is a 0 to infinity, but in your C programming it is having certain range. If it is exceeds, it doesn't stores. Okay, please make a note. Integers are whole numbers with a range of values supported by a particular machine. C as 3 classes of integer storage. Here, if you are using the integer data type, it is having 3 classes of storage. They are short int. Short is a keyword, int is a keyword. Short space int means this is a integer type of a short. Okay, and int, normal int and long int. Long is a keyword and int is also keyword. So long space int means whatever the value you are using, it become a long int. In both signed and unsigned form, the value it may be in the form of either positive or negative. An int data type numbers uses 16 bits. 16 bits means 2 bytes. And value is limited to the range minus 32,7682 plus value of 32,767. So this is very important. Okay, we will see what is the bits and bytes after completing this. Okay, yes, short int represent fairly small integer values and require half of the storage of as a regular int use. If you are using the short int data type, then it is using half of the memory and half of the range. Okay, if you are declaring the long and unsigned integers to increase the range of values by using this long data type, long with an int and unsigned integers, then you can increase the range of your integer value. Okay, yes, this is your integer type. It is just like as an integer constant. Okay, now we are moving to the floating point types. So floating point constants. Floating point data types or real numbers are defined in C by using the keyword float. If you want to represent any floating point information, means point values, and those values can be, if you want to process that, you have to use definitely float keyword. Floating point numbers are stored in 32 bits, that means 4 bytes. If you are using this float data type, then it will consumes 4 bytes of a memory in your computer system. Okay, with 6 digits of precision. Please observe here, if you are using the float, it may be according to your system, it will be give it as either after the point value as a 6 values. That 6 value means 6 digits precision. Okay, some of your system will give 8 precision. After the point, it will show as 8 precisions. Got it? For example, I'm taking the calci once again for understanding purpose. Okay, I'm using only the calci for your understanding purpose. Just you can see what is the precision number. Let it be get before that. Okay, now see 22 by 7. What is the value for 22 by 7? You are getting right. If you see here system, after the point values, you are getting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, because it is a standard calculator. Okay, if you use the scientific calculator, it will show whatever the screen exists. Clear? Got it? So it is according to your system. So the point values, how many exist? 6 digit or 8 digit, depends upon the machine, depend upon the computer you are using. Okay, this is called as a precision numbers. Okay, next its range is 3.4e minus 38. So what is the value of e? 10 power. 10 power minus 38 means you can store crores of data. Suppose if I want to mention your bank balance as some 100 crores, it is possible by using floating data types. Okay, but it is not possible in your integer data type. Okay, yes, for that we have to use this range value. Okay, what is the range value of an integer? It is minus 32,768 to positive value of 32,767. If it is exceeds, it doesn't stores. But if I want to store the crores of information in my account, then I have to use floating point data type. Its value is 3.4e, sorry, its range is 3.4e minus 38 to positive value of 3.4e 38. Okay, when an accuracy provided by a float type is not sufficient, then type double can be used. Sometimes we must require exact value. If you don't get the exact value, then we are feeling inconvenience. So for example, your salary is 1.5 crores. Let us assume here 1.5 means how much? 150 crores, right? I'm representing in the form of 1.5 crores, isn't it? Okay, if I make it as an int, so not it is possible in an int, if I remove that point value, then what happens? I'm getting only 100 crores. I am losing 50 crores. Got it? So for the accuracy, to get that accuracy levels, then we have to use floating point types as well as double types. A double type number uses 64 bit, that is 8 bytes, giving a precision of 14 digits. So double data type uses the memory location of 8 bytes and its precision is 14. Here we are seeing 16, right? Sorry, 6, right, in float. If you are using the keyword double, it is double. Then what is its range? Its range is 1.7e minus 308 to 1.7e 308. As you know, what is the value of e? That is 10 to the power of 308. So you can store a huge amount of values. Okay, further the precision can be long double, which is uses 80 bits. Okay, and next we are moving to the character type. If you are using the character type, then what you are doing? Now please observe here, character type defined by using the keyword char. If you are using char followed by the variable, then it is a character type. Okay. Now character types usually used to store 8 bits. It only used 8 bits, that is 1 byte of internal storage. And the qualifier signed or unsigned can be explicitly applied to char. So it is applied for the char data type. While unsigning characters have values between 0 and 255, signed characters have values from 128 to 127. Then what is its range? Its range is 0 to 255 whenever it is unsigned. Okay. If it is signed means either positive or negative. In that situation, its range is 128 to 127. Okay. Next, our data type is void data type. So in the character data type, you can store only one character. Please make a note, it only stores one character. Okay. Its range is only within this much. And next one is void type. This void type has no values. It is asking for a 2 marks question, so please go through it. This, if you are using the void type, it has no values. This is usually used to specify the type of functions. Then what is the purpose of using this void keyword? You are using to specifying the name of the functions. With void, it doesn't returns any value. The type of a function is said to be void when it doesn't return any value to the calling function. Suppose please observe here a function, right? Suppose if I call you with your attendance, then who will respond? Someone will respond, right? Got it? For example, I have created your WhatsApp group and I have given your name as BCA1 to BCA26. So if I call 1, number 1 will respond, right? Then who is calling? Myself. Myself is a caller. Who is responding for my call? Yourself. So you are the called function. I am calling, you are called. Okay. So likewise, these functions are exist, and these functions, whenever we are implementing, we will see in the program detail, it doesn't returns any value. Okay, right. So let us have a rough discussion of data types and its range. We have learned char data type, it is a small letters, not as a capital. Please make a note. If you are using the char data type, its range is -128 to 127. Then what is the memory location? Please we have to mention this also. Please make a note. Memory or storage. Memory or storage. What is its storage? Its storage is 1 byte. It is 1 byte. Okay. If you are using the integer data type, then what is its range? -32,768 to positive value of 32,768. So if you are using integer data type, then it consumes memory location is 2 bytes. It occupies 2 bytes of a memory. If you are using the float, then it consumes, its range is 3.4e minus 38 to 3.4e plus 38. So it will consume 4 bytes. 4 byte. And next it is double consumes the range of 1.7e minus 308 to 1.7e plus 308. So it consumes 8 bytes. It consumes 8 bytes. Okay. So this is about your data type. And your derived data type, here we are having various derived data type. They are arrays and structures. We will learn this arrays and structure in coming slides. And next one is modifiers. Modifiers are very important topic. If you are using the integer data type, float data type, double data type, and character data type, you can alter that data type by using these modifiers. Okay, already you have seen that signed, unsigned, long, short. So in integer representing, we are representing long int, short int, signed int, unsigned int. Signed means it is either positive or negative. Unsigned means it is compulsory positive. Okay. Yes. Now let us see how to declare the variable. Now we will see how to declare the variable. So this is also 2 marks, a very important question. It has question has been asked. Please make a note. Here we are seeing the variable declaration. Declaration of a variable in program performs a two tasks. That is, it tells the compiler what is the variable name. If we are declaring the variable means it performs the two jobs. It tells the compiler what is the name of the variable, and also it specifies what type of data of the variable hold, such as integer, float, double or character data type. Okay, so if you are using the variable, then it specifies which kind of a value it has to be stored. Holding means store. If you are using the integer type, you are not supposed to store the point values. If you store the point values, it will skips. If you are using the float, if you mention the integer value, then automatically it will convert it into floating point. Double is also same, and character should be stored only characters. Okay, then what is a character? A letter or a digit or a special symbol enclosed in single quote is treated as a character. Okay, now we will see the syntax of declaring the variable. If you are declaring the variable, then we have to follow this syntax, this rule. Here the data type 1 variable 1, data type 2 variable 2, data type 3 variable 3. So here the data types, as we know, integer data type, float data type, double data type, char data type. We are going to be using all these in your programs. Okay, yes, here a sample example we have given. Here it is an int a, here a float b, and here you are seeing character c, right? So then how to declare the multiple variables? If you want to declare the multiple variables of a type integer, then you have to separate that variable with comma. Okay, yes, here we are seeing the program. Here we are seeing the structure of a program. I will explain the next this how to write a simple program. Now we will see assigning values to a variable. Now we know the variable declaration of variable, then how to assign the value to a variable. This question is also asked for 2 marks and 2 marks. Okay, what is the difference between assigning and initialization? You have to give, you have to pay more attention on this. Okay, so if you are setting a value to a variable after the variable declaration, if you are setting a value to a variable after the variable declaration is called as assignment. Assigning value to a variable. For example, its syntax is please observe here, data type variable 1, where 1 comma where 2 comma where 3. So it must be end with semicolon. Here it should be within a one line. Okay, it should not go to the next line. So this is the syntax for this example. After that, what you are doing, you are assigning the value, where 1 is equal to value. Okay, where 2 is equal to value. Okay, every statements, if you observe here, it has to be end with a semicolon. It has to be end with a semicolon. Got it? Likewise you are processing. For example, where 3 is equal to where 1 plus where 2. Clear? So this is the syntax. So for example, I am declaring here int a comma b comma c. Afterwards I am setting the value. After this is the declaration. Please observe here, this is a single line comment. Comments are non-executable statements. Okay, declaration of variable. What is this statement? Declaration of variable. Okay, after declaration I am setting the value. Now what I am doing, I am setting the value to that variable. A is equal to 10 colon, b is equal to 20 colon. Now I am processing. C is equal to a plus b. What it will store? 10 plus 20, 30 will be stored in your C. So likewise you can declare either integer variable or float variable or okay. Suppose if I want to do the same thing for float, I can do, I'm copying and I'm pasting just for your understanding purpose. I'm declaring the float variable type float float. I'm storing 10.23 and 20.87. okay, it will be processed and result will be stored in the form of point values. So likewise you can declare. Now if I want to declare the character data type, please observe here char a comma b comma c. okay, in a you are storing one character, that is one within a single quote. In b you are storing one more character, that may be anything, special symbol. okay, in C you are also storing one more character, that may be anything. Yes, so likewise you can store certain values by using this variable. okay, now this is the assigning a value to a variable. So we have seen the syntax and we are seeing the example assignment statement. okay, num is equal to 5.4, initial value is equal to 0. Here the example is given, but I have detailedly mentioned here. This is the declaration of variable. Its syntax is data type var1 var2, declaration of a variable. Here after the declaration you are assigning the value, you are setting the value. If you set, this is called as an assigning. okay, so now we will see what we have to. Yes, we have learned here the assigning a value to a variables, right? Now we will learn initialization of a variable. Then what do you mean by initialization of a variable? So what do you mean by assigning a value to a variable? The setting a value to a variable after the declaration is called as a assignment. If you are setting the value to a variable at the time of declaration, if you are setting the value to a variable at the time of a variable declaration, then it is called as initialization. Then what is its syntax? Here we are having data type, variable name, constant. For example, you are seeing here int float total marks is equal to 100. So this is called as an initialization. okay, float pi is equal to 3.14. so you are setting the value at the time of a variable declaration, then it is called as initialization of a variable. okay, now double distance is equal to 34.244. it is a assignment. okay, not as an initialization. Sometimes it is treated as an initialization, but actually it is assigning a value to a variable. yes, now we will see constant variable. Suppose if you are defining the variable with keyword const, then that value never changes. okay, the value never changes. Such variable is called as constant variable. Then how to declare the constant variable? Here the syntax const data type variable name is equal to constant. For example, if you see here I am declaring, for example, float pi is equal to 3.14. it is a constant, actually it doesn't changes, but in front of this also we have mentioned it as a const. This value doesn't changes throughout the program execution. If I want to represent one more example, I'm taking const, sorry, it should be small letter, not a capital letter. okay, const int, it may be anything, it may be any value, it may be any type. okay, int b is equal to 20. Suppose if you try to modify this value, it doesn't changes because you have declared it as a const. okay, now the next variable is volatile. So if you declare the volatile variable, it is default, the value of the variable will vary. okay, the value of a variable will changes. This is a volatile variable. Now welcome my dear students. Today I will show you how to execute sample program. To execute our sample program, we must require editor. in your desktop you are seeing here the Turbo C++ editor. Open this Turbo C++ editor. By using this editor you can create your program. Okay, for this I am taking first a new program. Okay, so once it is open, you just identify the various tab, that is file. In the file you are having various option, in the edit also you are having various option, search also we are having various option, in run also we are having various option, and in compile also we are having various option, debug, project, option tab, window tab, and help tab. Okay, after opening this, let me do one sample program. Now we want to display our name. So for this, first I have to write hash followed by include stdio.h. Afterwards you have to write int main. Afterwards you have to write open curly brace. Afterwards you have to write one printf function. Okay, now I am displaying my name. My name is assigned, I'm using my college name, I'm not using my name. Okay, and the calculation I have to mention it. Afterwards we have to use it. So it's the program. Let me see what it is. So if I did like this, I'm unable to understand what I'm doing. Okay, so first I'm using multi-line comment, and this is the program to display your, so afterwards followed by forward slash. So this is a comment, this is also called as the maintenance section. So multi comment. Okay, this is a two very important question, and this is called as maintenance section. Okay, I am writing only. This is also called documentation. Called documentation section. Documentation section defines what is the name of the program, and here this is the way to represent multi-line comment. This statement doesn't execute in your program to give you an idea what the program is. Next you are using hash include stdio.h. So this is standard input output header files. So using preprocessor, so here the hash is preprocessor. We have to write this statement. If I don't write this statement to display this as an output, we have to write thousands of codes, 1,000 lines of codes, because computer doesn't know, because compiler doesn't know. Okay, so this is the compulsory statement we have to write. Every program starts with main function. Every program starts with main function. If you see here, I am using main words brackets. If I am using the brackets, means it has to be treated as a function, and the main function I have given the data type as int. If I use this data type as int, then our main function is a int data type. Afterwards your control begins from here. It is opening of the block. Please observe here, block means after the function you are starting open curly brace, curly brace. This is a group of statement. This group of statement is treated as a block. Okay, so it's begin open curly brace and closed with curly brace. So it is a comment or non-executable statement. Close the block. Okay, closing the block or closing the program. It is the starting point and it is the end point. Okay, in this what I did one statement. Here I am using printf function because it uses open and closing curly braces, sorry, open and closing brackets, right? So it is a output function. All the informations of these lines has been written in your standard stdio.h function. Okay, so printf is a output function, it displays. After typing all this information, next you have to save your file. After typing your program, you have to save your file. Okay, first go to this file and click the save. While saving, you have to give the name of the file followed by .c extension. So I did my name file. I'm doing this name program starts the name .c. So C is compulsory because it gives. I'm doing the C program. Okay, you just type the OK button. So afterwards, if anything is exist with the same name, you just click the S. It will be replaced. Got it? Yes. After typing that, what do you do? Next we have to compile it. So for this, you have to go to compile tab or alt plus F9. Okay, so I'm doing compile tab, sir, not a yes, compile tab, alt plus F9 is there. I'm compiling. So now I'm checking here in my program. Warnings are exit. I'm warning. Okay, check what is error means mistake in the program. You can avoid this warnings. I'm pressing the enter. We are seeing here function should return value because I'm making the value. So before closing this statement, I have to use one keyword, that is return. Here I type return keyword followed by the value. So afterwards, if you made a modification, once again you have to save the button and once again you go to the compile it. Now you are identifying there is no errors. After that, so compilation, if you take the lowest, then you run your program. For running program, you have to go to the run pro tab and click F9. Okay, that is the shortcut is control plus F9. So in run tab, control. So program has successfully run. Now after running that, we have to view the result. We have to view the result. To view the result, press alt plus F5. alt plus F5. So I'm pressing alt plus F5. So this is our output. Okay. If you press enter, it comes to the video. Okay. So you are seeing here this is a compulsory and words you are doing here. What is the main function? Actually, what is a function? A function is a self-containing subpart of a program. Please observe here. Function is a self-containing subpart of a program to do a well-defined task. Okay. So actually, these functions are to reduce the complexity of your programs. Okay. If you want to reduce the complexity of your programs, then you have to use the function. I will give you a general example. Suppose if I give you 20 bundles of a stick with a tag, if I ask you to the break, it is not possible, right? Then how can we do that? We can share with your friends with one stick and you can break it, isn't it? So then what we are doing, the complexity of that program is reducing. Got it? In the same sense, if you want to reduce the complexity in your program, the large program should be divided into a small block and we have to call whenever it is necessary. So that is called as functions. Likewise, to reduce the complexity, we are using the functions. Every C program starts with main function. Okay. And also I'm going to giving you one more general example. At lunch time, you are getting hungry. For example, if you have attended a wedding celebration, you are having a buffet lunch, right? If you are a buffet lunch in your life, you are having various cooked item, right? So it will be placed with a cooked item. Can you swallow at one take? No, you can divide the portions. Some rice with sambar, some rice with palya, some rice with sar, and some rice with curd, and some payasam, and all you are doing that task by dividing. So this is one function, right? So then what you are doing, you are dividing and making your complexity program into simplifier. So that is the usage of a function. Every C programs begins with functions. So likewise, you can compile, you can create a simple program. Okay. Yes, likewise you can run.